Do it without losing them and all the money mumbo jumbo. To help us out this morning is our financial expert, Chip Cummings. Good to see you once again, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike.
All right, so where do we start and how early do we start with our kids in talking about savings?
Well, you know, financial habits are something that if you don't learn when you're really young, it's really hard to learn when you're older.
Yes, indeed.
So as soon as they can count, that's the time.
Okay.
Get them started right away,
Okay, so where should we start? Is it a savings account? Is it something other than that?
Well, start with something like as simple as pennies. You know,
Okay.
getting them to count pennies, maybe hide pennies around the house. When they find them, they get to keep them. As kids get older, then, of course, you increase the games and you increase the knowledge base. You want to make sure that they learn about the value of saving money. You want them to split it so that they can save for something really important. And then let them spend that money. Let them enjoy the idea of a reward. And obviously when they're younger, you need to do it in shorter time spans.
Right. And talk about the impact of allowances. Is that a good idea? Certainly you want them to work for something and see the, I guess, reap the benefits of their, their work.
Very important. One of the biggest questions that we get, of course, is how much do I give my kids for allowance, or should I give my kids? Yes, you do want to give your kids allowance. That's how you teach them about money. But how much is a big question, and that usually is going to range from about $1 to $2 per year for the child. So a 10-year-old should be getting maybe $10 a week. Teach them to save half of that, or a third of it at least, a third to charity, a third to spend, and then let them make mistakes when spending their money. You know, that's one of the key things that people forget. When they learn that it was a bad investment, they'll learn not to do it the next time. And that's something that it's a lot cheaper when you're a kid as opposed to an adult.
Now, I thought this was pretty interesting, is you talked about teaching them about stocks and the market, and Tell us a little bit about why it's a good idea to do this and how the kids can get involved.
Well, it's fun. You don't want them to open up the Wall Street Journal, but what you do want is to teach them that companies like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, that they're public companies, that everybody can own a piece of that. So when they come home and say, hey, so-and-so found this great new video game, that I really want to get, it's like, okay, let's take a look at the company. What does it mean you can actually own a piece of that? They get more excited about the investment possibilities and saving money to invest in a company like that. Even if you did it just on paper.
Right.
It's a lot of fun to teach them the exercise and show them how their money can grow through those type of companies.
And what about, is it always a good idea to have a savings account for them, or what about like a 529?
Well, it is. A 529, of course, for long-term education is one thing, but a savings account, the old passbook accounts, as they say,
right,
shows them the value of money and interest and how they save. Now, of course, they're not going to get a lot of interest nowadays, but parents sometimes will match their savings. So if a kid saves, $50, great, let's match that a certain period. Watch them, let them watch that money grow. But a savings account is something, start early on and let them see those statements so they can see the money and have something tangible that they can get excited about.
What's your thoughts on, they'll get them, taking out a loan or co-signing a loan? Is that a good idea for kids?
Well, again, you want to teach them the value of money and, of course, the flip side, the contrasting downside of paying interest.
Right.
So it is important to do small loans with your kids. If you've got a 15-year-old, say, hey, look, I'm going to loan you $20, for you to go out and have fun this weekend with your friends or whatever, but you're going to have to pay me $22 when it comes back. They're going to, wait a minute, no, I don't want to do that. Right. Well, on the flip side, go out and do some chores. Wash the car, clean the garage, clean your room, do some things, and then you can save that money ahead of time. Then you don't have to pay that interest. So teach them the pain, as it were, of paying interest.
I think it's great stuff. And you're also going to be talking about the same kind of topic coming up on your radio show, correct?
Yeah. During the weekend, we have the radio show here locally, 1340 AM, the Financial Fitness Show. And this week, we're talking to one of the national experts about kids and finances and how to teach them the right way.
All right. Well, it's always great to see you, Chip. Thanks
You
for coming in. It is 8:21, and we're going to check in with Miss Emily Riquette.